Hey, Dan Meyer here, and I am back once again with more tips for you on lead generation. And tonight, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek or a peek behind the curtain what we do at Sonic VA to be able to do lead generation. We have a list of leads that we want to work. And so what we need to be able to do is assign VAs to work the leads. And we're going to do it based on the philosophy that I have of lead generation. I've worked with my company, Sonic VA, for many years, and I'm also helping launch a new VA agency, TimeSync VA. And between the two of these, we're going to try to onboard 100 clients in the next couple months. And if we can do that, then this has been a success. So stay tuned to find out more. But for now, sit back and relax, and you'll learn a little bit more about lead generation when it comes especially using Facebook to identify the leads, to make sure that you give them a good introduction, and that you do things to make sure that you can track whether you're successful or not with them once you reach out. So tonight, tomorrow, or today, or whenever you are watching this, we'll talk about landing American clients. This is my specialty, my niche, right? So I've spent several years here in the Philippines working with Filipino virtual assistants and matching them with American small business owners. And I teach a lot of Filipino VAs how to land American clients. There's a lot of people that know how to do things like edit videos or do social media management. They're really good at, email management, or they can build websites. They can do all kinds of things, but what they struggle with is finding clients. On the flip side, I know a lot of American small business owners who frankly need help. They're working in their business, trying to figure out how to grow it, and they're struggling to get it all done by themselves. So they want to be able to bring on an assistant, but they don't know where to start. They don't know who to trust and how to get started. They don't know how much to pay, and so they're not sure where to start. Or you've tried one before and it didn't work out. So whichever part of that you are coming to this chat from, if you're a virtual assistant, a wannabe virtual assistant, a business owner who's worked with a virtual assistant, or a business owner looking to work with a virtual assistant for the right time, these things will be useful for you, because we're going to talk about lead generation off of Facebook, and whether you're having a VA do it for you or you're doing it for yourself. If you're a VA working for an agency, or you're a VA as a freelancer doing your own thing, these lessons will be very important to help you figure out how to optimize your lead generation for Facebook. All right, so that's really what we're going to cover tonight. So I want to give you kind of like the opening greeting is that this training will focus on how Filipino VAs can mine, organize, and work leads for a virtual assistant, right? So the leads are clients that we think need a virtual assistant, and we're going to work on that. Now, this could be good for anybody, right? So if you have a list of clients, other small business owners you want to be a coach for, other small business owners you want to build a network with, people that you want to bring under you to do direct selling or network marketing, whatever you may be doing, you can use the same principles. So, and this is important because in today's digital age, Filipino VAs are able to master lead generation in ways that's more of a skill enhancement, right? It's something that they're able to do that can add value and be that bridge, right? So you don't have to always do it yourself. And most importantly, you have consistency. Because one of the biggest challenges business owners have with lead generation is to consistently generate leads. They're stuck with the ebb and flow of business. Sometimes you get a lot of referrals or new client inquiries and you work them, and then sometimes they dry up. And there's not really any kind of pattern. Maybe you have a seasonal product, or you're doing something that has a certain time of the year it picks up as far as peak. Like one of our clients, he only works with us a couple times a year because all he needs a VA for is to help him find people who want him or his team to hang Christmas lights on their house, right? We just engage with him every September, and then plan on having a VA do marketing for him to touch, all his leads and add more leads for people that want him to come over to their house and hang their Christmas lights for him. Very simple stuff, right? But that's the kind of thing that a lead generation VA can do, because every day they can touch a certain number of leads. Every day they can make sure that they're following up on that. So as the business owner, especially if you're a small business owner like my friend who hangs the Christmas tree lights, he's actually a fireman. His day job is a firefighter. So the sideline he does is he hangs Christmas tree lights for a little side income. And so he can't do that every day, because there's some days he's working, double shift at the firehouse, or some days is really stressed out or needs a vacation or whatever. But for his side business to grow, he needs that VA to be doing lead generation every day. That's the kind of thing we do here, is teach you guys how to do lead generation so that when you're busy, things are still happening. So a bit about myself, just real quick. So I have been working in the Philippines since 2012. One of my very first virtual assistants I hired her to help me do lead generation, to find people that I can do training for that eventually would become employees. And another, great hire I had was somebody I wanted to be an executive assistant and / helper who can help me with video, to help me record really high quality videos and then get them on the YouTube. So I know lead generation in the Philippines because I've lived it. And I've grown several businesses based on Filipino VAs doing the lead generation for me. That's my background. And I've trained over 10,000 Filipinos, whether it be in school programs or at conferences or in trainings or webinars and Zoom meetings. I've literally trained over 10,000 Filipino VAs how to do something that will improve the value that they can offer to American small business clients. So that's my story. I love what I do. I love connecting people. I consider myself a matchmaker. I match up people that have too much work to do with people looking for more. We're going to talk about 4 things today, right? We're going to talk about how to define your target audience. So the idea here is, who is your target audience? Now I'll talk about what we at Sonic VA and TimeSync VA, what our target audience is and why we're looking to have this project where I'm going to assign a bunch of VAs to go out and do lead generation. But in general, number one, for lead generation, you got to know who you're trying to attract. Who's your best client? What do they look like? Where are they at geographically? What do they look like demographically? What kind of businesses are they into? What kind of services are they looking for? What kind of social media platforms are they using? What are the things that you can do to make sure that you identify the ones that are going to give you the people you want to work with? One of the biggest challenges we have is that we get a lot of clients that want a one and done project. They want a couple of videos edited and that's it. They want an ebook made and that's it. People like that, I actually try to refer them off to other services, to either like a Fiverr or a Express service we have. I don't give them a full-time VA because they don't need that. What we specialize in is having a full-time VA. That doesn't have to be 40 hours a week, but it has to be consistent. Like ideally, you have a virtual assistant working for you at least 2 hours a day, every day on your business. And that consistency will allow them to do, besides lead generation, any number of things you need to help grow your business. So we'll talk about how to define your target audience. We'll talk about how to develop a strong value proposition. What do you offer to first? What do you offer to get their attention? How do you get a client's attention? How do you offer them something that they can't say no to? And once you do that, then you kind of sell from there, right? You don't want to just sell right away. I see so many VAs who do it backwards. And I've seen this in the Philippines quite a bit, where there's a lot of Filipino VAs that are trained by training companies here in the Philippines, or they're part of communities here in the Philippines, where they're taught that you have to fill this out, this long email that no one will ever really have the time to read, that talks about all the things you can do. And you give a set amount that you'll either work for this amount or you won't. And I don't think that worked, not very effectively, at least not for the majority of Filipino virtual assistants. I know for a fact from the data that I've collected and people I've worked with that most Filipino virtual assistants don't have full-time work, and they're working for around $4 an hour or less. And that's not really sustainable. To be an effective virtual assistant, you have to be working close to full-time, and you have to be making at least $4 an hour. In the Philippines, $4 an hour is like 200 pesos an hour. It's a pretty good lifestyle. For a full-time virtual assistant working 40 hours a week at $4 an hour, that's equivalent to any kind of good office job. If you want to pay someone a fair living wage and they're a Filipino virtual assistant, don't offer less than $3 or $4. If you offer less than $4 an hour, you're making them live below the poverty line. And that's not right. So anyway, how do you develop a strong value proposition? How do you get your clients to say, yes, I want more? How do you get them to have an interest that you can use so that you can keep providing them more stuff? One thing we do is we upsell quite a bit, right? So we bring somebody in, they want some videos edited. We edit some of their videos, and then they want an ebook, or they want a online course, or they want someone to manage your social media for them, or they want to be able to rip up the videos and slice them into reels. And all these things kind of develop off each other, right? And sometimes we take up on a client, we'll do multiple things at once. And sometimes we'll take a client and we'll kind of slowly upsell them. Whichever we do, we need to have a good tracking system for that. So part of lead generation feeds into customer relationship management, right? The idea that you have to know who your customers are and what you're giving them, and do follow up, like especially for clients that come and go. Like I mentioned that most of our best clients are full-time clients, but we do have a lot of part-time clients that do come and go. They're not one and done, but they're not like every day either. So you have to kind of have a process for that. And to do that, you want to make sure that you can, when you talk to somebody, you can drive them to the appropriate point in your business. And this is a funnel, right? An idea of a lead funnel. And how do you turn your social media into a lead funnel? Some clients will invest in a lead funnel software, something like ClickFunnels. Some clients will have apps like Kajabi, where you can build in funneling. There are literally thousands of funnel builders out there. But you can also just do a simple link to a Google form and have a funnel, right? You just want to capture people's contact information, and you want to capture a sense of what they need. So when you reach back out to them, you know what they're looking for, and you know if it's within your area of expertise. And if it's not, maybe you can refer them to somebody. But the idea is that you want to just funnel people into a situation where you can provide a solution that's a win-win, or a win-win-win, right? The VA wins, I win, and you win. Lead generation is something that I think also you should have a bonus. I do sometimes pay people lead generation just as flat rate, but generally it's because what they're doing is very repetitive and there's not a lot of selling in it. It's basically just sending a really simple scripted message, or doing data mining, or adding to a CRM. But when I really want a VA to sell, when I want them to kind of like go above and beyond to try to like have a conversation with a client to get the client to the yes, where they'll actually sign up with us, then I'll offer them a bonus. So we do that as well here. That's what we'll talk about. I'm going to share with you some tips, and I'll give you a little insight into how we do it at Sonic VA. I can't share everything with you. So if you're a VA watching this, get ready, have your notebook ready, take some notes. This is how you can do lead generation for yourself. If you're part of my team, make sure you're taking notes because this is how we're going to do lead generation. And for clients out there, then this is how you want your VA to do lead generation for you. All right, so let's get started, right? Number one, define your target audience. Defining the target audience is crucial to a Filipino virtual assistant to understand who they are serving and how to best communicate their value. Now, I mean this in two different ways. If the VA is a freelancer looking for their own clients, then they need to understand how to target their audience. If they're working for a business owner, if you're a business owner, you hire a VA, you want them to target your clients. You don't want to just try to be everything to everyone. You want to micro target. You want to make sure that you're hitting people that are very likely to need you and want to say yes to hiring you. So you start by evaluating what you can do, right? What are you good at? At Sonic VA, we're really good at three things. We can do a lot. We can do basically anything that you need done from a computer. But what we simply do best is video editing, primarily for YouTube and social media reels. We do graphic designs for social media, like posts for Instagram, or we can do like templates. We also build, ebooks and a lot of like materials for people's courses. And then we also manage social media. Like we help clients make sure that they're consistently dropping in social media, that they're using social media analytics tools to make sure that what they're dropping is making sense. And then we also can do lead generation. That's something that we have started doing more and more because more and more clients are needing help with lead generation. It seems like we've gotten to a point where it's just a little bit harder to do business than it was a couple of years ago. And we just need more lead generation. It takes longer to convert leads. It's harder to find, good quality leads than it has been in the past. So a VA that knows lead generation can be a big help. And if you're a VA who can offer lead generation, you should be able to find a client pretty easily because most clients need lead generation. And lead generation looks different for everybody, right? Some people consider lead generation social media engagement because every conversation, every like, every follow, every share is a potential lead. But not everyone is a lead. So knowing which ones are worth following up with and which ones are just people that like your stuff. They were scrolling and just hit like. They're not really ready to buy from you. Well, you have to look at that person to see if they're the kind of person that would buy from you. You have to look at their profile, get a sense of who they are, maybe ask them a couple questions, but you have to be able to figure that kind of stuff out, right? Because if you have the mentality where a lead is everyone, you're going to spin your wheels. You want to make sure that the leads you're touching are ones that are ready to say yes. So you start by evaluating what you do well and make sure that you are finding people who need that. And I'll share with you a couple steps we do to show how we get out there and we look at people's Facebook profiles and quickly we go through a checklist to see if they're the kind of people we're looking for. And I'll give you a little insight into that. So know yourself and know your client, right? Identify common challenges that clients face that you can address easily, providing solutions to their pain points. It helps you narrow your efforts, right? Because again, you don't want to market to everybody. You only want to market to people that you think you have a good chance of closing. That's how lead generation fails, is we tend to spend too much time marketing to the wrong people. And then when that happens, we don't make a lot of money. That's really the first thing we'll talk about. And as we do that, I want to keep in mind a couple things, right? So lead generation is vital for business growth. Regardless of how good your business is, you're always going to want to bring in new leads and you're always want to be able to retouch old leads. I have a process that we'll talk about a little bit later where we do follow-up, right? So we touch people's leads multiple times and we usually wait a month or two between times we reach out to them. And occasionally they'll tell us to stop. Occasionally they say, okay, look, I'm not interested, stop bothering me. And you can't take that personal. So you just follow up and you get to the point where they say yes. They say that the average person, it takes 10 touches to get them to say yes, right? And you think about traditional advertising, how many times do you see a commercial for McDonald's before you go buy a Big Mac? And maybe you never will, but you know what a Big Mac is. So if somebody says, hey, do you know where I can go to get a cheap burger that's really going to fill me up? You know to tell them to go to McDonald's, get a Big Mac. You know it because you see it so many times. You may not actively need a Big Mac right now, but you know it's there if you ever want it. That's the kind of thing with lead generation. So knowing yourself, knowing your client, and being able to do continuous research and refinement is important. You want to engage in things that happen in your industry by knowing what you're good at, knowing what your business is all about, knowing how your VA is good at the things that you need them to do, and then making sure you're getting in front of the right clients. And you do this and you constantly refine it, right? So you can never do the same thing over and over again. It gets stale. You constantly want to be looking at what's the newest thing you can offer, what's the newest freebie you can give away, what's the newest thing that will get people kind of hooked into having a conversation with you. There's no 100% guarantee right or wrong way to do it. You just constantly experiment. You'll find that some things are more effective than others, but it's not true for everyone. Everyone's business business is different. Everyone's voice and style is different. So the way that they come across with their offer, if it feels legit, if it feels like something people want, then they'll be interested. And really, to me, it boils down to one simple thing. You have to get your point with your audience. They look at you and they like you and they trust you with their business. And they say to themselves, I think I can work with this guy or girl. That's what your VA can help you do. That your VA can get you in front of that business, share a story, give a message, give a freebie, make an offer that will make them think they want to work with you. And that's what we focus on at Sonic VA. That's how we do lead generation. This is what we do. I'll share a little secret sauce with you, right? This is how we target the market for virtual assistants. So I have a list. I belong to a couple of Facebook groups of entrepreneurs, and people that sign up to these Facebook groups are usually new entrepreneurs launching a sideline or a side hustle, and they're looking to grow their business and they don't have enough time to effectively be working on it. There's too many things in their to-do list and not enough time in their day. Most of them have full-time jobs or they have a couple kids at home or whatever it is. They can't devote the consistent time they know they need to. So they're very much likely to need help from a virtual assistant, probably a part-time VA, somebody that can work a couple hours a day on a couple different projects, like maybe lead generation. Well, when we get a lead, we put them through a simple 7-step assessment. I ask these 7 questions. First of all, if you're looking at a Facebook profile, now I'm not going to show you publicly, our leads because I wouldn't want to expose somebody without their permission. But imagine, go to a Facebook profile, click on a random person that pops up in the people you may know section, and look at their Facebook business page if they have it. If they don't, if it's a personal page, if it's a personal page you're looking at, are they doing business? Now, obviously, people that are happily employed for a company probably don't need a virtual assistant. They wouldn't want to pay their own money to have an assistant help them with things that they're as part of somebody's company. But if they're an entrepreneur, you should be able to see that. They're going to say that in their bio. They're going to say that in the about section. They're going to have pictures and images on their Facebook page that kind of give you a sense that they're in business. Now, for all the ones that we talk to, we've already pre-qualified them because we know they've signed up for these Facebook groups that are for newbie entrepreneurs. So if you have access to a pool of potential clients, you look at these 7 things. Is their banner image business related? Right? Is there something on their banner image on Facebook that looks like business? I'm going to show you an example. I'll show you mine, right? So I'm going to flip over in a second here. All right, so this is my Facebook page. You can pretty much tell, yes, Dan's open for business, right? Dan's doing business. It's about a VA. This is my Facebook personal page. I don't separate the two. I've been doing business and entrepreneur for over 15 years. I've gotten to the point in my life where the person and Dan Meyer, the business owner, are the same. And I'm cool with that. That's what I like. Some people like to have it separate. I respect that. But if you're trying to penetrate other small business owners, people likely like yourself, having a Facebook business page that is a personal page makes sense, right? So you turn your personal page into a Facebook business page. I also have a Facebook business page, but on both of them, I have this with a simple, hey, this is what we do, right? This is how you get started. This is the pricing. This is what we do. This is how you sign up. You click on the link. It takes you to the description over here. It's a link to a Google form. That's how we work what we do, right? So that is what I want you guys to know about. All right. So you look at the Facebook page, right? Is the profile pic business related? Yes. Does it either have a pic clearly showing their face? Yes. If you're a serious small business owner, this is what you use to sell your business yourself, right? People will buy from small business owners they like and trust. People buy from brands, from big companies because they trust the brand. But when you are your brand, you have to be able to get their like and trust. And you do that by showing a smile, a happy, nice selfie, something with you looking not too professional, but not too informal. That's really what I think works for 99% of small business owners is they've got to have their business, but they're front and center. Look and see how long their past post is, right? If they're not actively posting every day or at least a couple times a week, they may not be ready for a VA, or maybe they need a VA and that's what the whole point is, but you'll find out when you message them. But we don't generally message anybody who hasn't touched their Facebook page in 6 months. If there's no recent posts, then they're probably not using Facebook for their business, or they have a separate business page for their Facebook. And we can always reach out to them. We'll still, hey, how you doing? Do you have a business kind of question? We might DM them at some point, but we're not going to prioritize them. We're prioritizing people that already have a business, that already publicize that business, that probably need help in growing them. That's our easiest ones to sell to. So people that are posting on a regular basis. Do they show what they do for a living, right? In their bio, in their about section, does it show what people do? Again, going back to mine, it clearly says what I do right here. It's do the work, live the life, and not on paradise. I love being in the Philippines, right? What am I? I work as an advisor for ScienceInc. Time Sync. I'm a president founder of Sonic VA and so on and so forth, right? So it's pretty clear that I am in business. And do I have links? Yes, I have a link to my IG, a link to my YouTube channel. And then do I mix personal and business only? That's important because if it's just purely a business page, then the conversation should be fairly transactional. Do you need help running the business page? And you basically say, I can do your video editing for you. I can do your social media management for you and keep it like that. But if it's a mix, then they're probably trying to use their own network, their friends and family to generate business from, and they like to talk about what they do. So they're probably more likely to want to have a virtual assistant, like a right-hand person, a secretary, an administrative assistant, somebody that they can help them grow their business. They probably don't necessarily need somebody just to do tasks. They want someone to actually help them grow their business. This is something I know the difference, right? So if you're looking at somebody's business page, it's really straight business transactional. If you're looking at somebody's personal page and they mix business and personal stuff together, then they probably need a virtual assistant that can be with them for a while, someone to help them, like a sidekick. And that's our primary market, where we want clients that are solopreneurs that are looking to grow a team and want to start with a virtual assistant. We also work with some people that have a team already, that have even virtual assistants already, and we do tasks for them. But it's a different type of relationship, right? The one we want to be with is where they need us every day, where we are able to work with them a couple hours a day, every day to help them grow their business. That's the ones that I find the most rewarding. That's the ones that VAs find the most rewarding. And that's the ones where we find our most success as far as financial growth. That is the first section, right? So we talked about knowing your target market.